Okay, guys, I'm going to do this as a recording rather than a live stream because I want to knock this out real quick because I got a bunch of oars in the water, and right now, currently, they're not all stroking in the same direction. So let's go ahead and get started here on a couple things. I'm just going to look at a few things. This whole market is moving really pretty much the same way, so there's no need to go meticulously through each and every single one of these things. I think I just want to give you a broad sentiment of what to expect until I get back in the captain's chair and things will be running like they're supposed to here. So I'm currently back in the office for about 3 seconds and then I got to go back out. So I've been buying cars and spending my time buying crap on eBay. I don't need to be buying at 4 in the morning. So that's what happens when you got too much free time on your hands. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few things here. So Bitcoin, I've been watching this from my phone, and I can't say this is entirely unexpected. I did show you where I thought it was probably going to light, and again, a lot of these are going to tie in with the 200 EMA. So we had the pump a little bit. You could kind of call this an opening and a closing move if you really wanted to, but again, you must understand here that we are operating in a broadening descending wedge. What is that? Well, we all know it goes down like that. So keep that in mind because that's basically going to be the backbone of my overall discussion here while I'm doing this. All right, so where are we going from here? I would not be surprised to see this continue up. Right now, basically, what we got is an upside down BART. Um, if you guys remember what a BART is, BART looks like Bart Simpson's head, whatever, just standing on his head right now. So that's basically an upside down BART is what we got going on. Um, that could turn tail and go south again real fast. Classically speaking, looking at this, the indicators are saying up, and I would agree with that temporarily. But we have a lot of resistances going back up. So how high can this go? We're coming out of a 3-day holiday weekend here in America, and by the way, happy unofficial start to summer, you guys in North America. So enjoy what little you got left before the dead cold of winter comes this fall. Um, but we've got a couple of boosts here. I'm expecting probably anywhere about 8 to 9% more on this. That would not be completely out of line. Basically back up to the top of this red here. But I think after that, again, moreover, what we're looking at is we're looking at a broadening descending wedge, if in fact that does play out the way that it should. And then we're right back with the program and crushing hopes and dreams and dropping even lower. So all right. So let's go ahead and take a look at. I've got four that I'm watching right now. I am in Ethereum, I'm in Theta Fuel, and I'm in more VeChain than I thought I'd ever own. So let's take a look at those because they're pretty much indicative of the entire market. Let me pull a few things down here just to kind of show you the similarity in these charts. You'll see why I'm like, it's just not necessary to monotonously or just dig through the minutia here because it's just the same story, just different book cover. You can see. So there's your Ethereum, there's your T Fuel, and then there's your VeChain, and you can see they're all pretty much saying the same thing. Now, many of you guys have heard me say this many times before. If you look at one or two things and you just don't really get a very clear indication of what's going on, keep looking through the charts. If they're all sharing some similarity to them, one chart might show you where some resistances or some breakouts are possible. So let's look at these three specifically. I've never taught you guys this stuff, but I want to teach you how to use this stuff you subscribe to rather than lean on me. I want to teach you how to use the tools that are right here in front of your face and be able to benefit from them when I go on the road and do my racing, do my car buying, and go to Cuba. I don't want any of you guys panicking because I'm not here to be able to watch over you. Um, so let's start with Ethereum here. So we're going to keep, so you see the similarity. There is similarity, but there is a little bit of difference. You'll notice that this is a much stronger drop. We have what would classically be referred to, let's open that up here. We have what would be classically referred to as a plate of spaghetti. So there we go, is basically a bear flag, broadly speaking. So, and again, we're still inside of what would be defined as a channel, if we wanted to look at it that way, of course. But just understand that we're just because we had a little bit of a 9% boost doesn't mean party's over to the bottom and it's going to go back up by no means. So look at this and understand that classically speaking, this is a bear flag or a bear pennant or however bear flag. But our indicators are saying we're going to go up. Now, how high will we go up? This one could be a little bit of a surpriser. Ethereum could, because again, we're tagging 200 EMAs on the Bitcoin, but we didn't do it here. We got a hell of a lot, and that's an old alarm that I have there if you guys are trying to read what that said. So we got 44% to go back up. Do I think that'll happen? No, I really don't. If it goes back up, I think the most that we'll probably see is right here at this start of this resistance, and that would be about 22,222 if you want to be cute about it. And then I think we'll probably recorrect and continue down to the bottom. So, but we can stay. This EMA can come down just as easy as the candles can come up. So always remember that. All right, so looking at, let me pull this back in here. I want to kind of be able to kind of make a case for all three things and show you. So now you'll notice this one's a little bit more flat. Where are we at with that? Now this is T Fuel. T Fuel is a phenomenal buy right now, guys. Yes, it will go lower. Yes, Anubis has it predicted lower. But I mean, if you bought in right now in the bounce zone, you're doing good, guys. You're doing really good. There's no problem owning this thing at 6 cents. I bought a bunch of it. I bought $250,000 worth of it. So don't feel bad. And this thing is down on me a little bit. I have every bit of faith. This thing will be over a dollar, $1.25, quick as a wink. All right, so where are we going to go from this? So right now it's kind of indecisive. I would look at this right down the middle. This is much more of a 50-50 split as to the decision of what this would do. And let me show you. So again, we have the bear flag, but. Our indicators are going up. And we went through a pretty strong 3 sessions of red there into a fairly healthy green. We could go another one. We might possibly go a little bit longer, but we could end up with that inverted Bart. We could end up, bear flagging and going down. So it's a 50-50 thing right now. But here's what I want to call your attention to. You got some money sitting in the bank right now, and that's this. Look how far we are from the EMA. 180%, kids. That's why I dropped $250,000 on this. I ain't going to lose my money. Not going to lose my money. So here's what I'm going to tell you is this. Uh, if you are at all reserved about, how do I want to say this? Because I know I'm speaking to multiple levels of financial levels. You smaller guys, if you want a chance to grab a reasonable expectation of making some good money, again, you're looking at 180% just to get back to the baseline. There is money to be made here. You might have to wait for it. This is what I want to tell you. I'm not suggesting you throw down on 6 cents and 6 3/4 cents, and tomorrow the thing goes ballistic on you. I'm not suggesting it. Again, these are one day candles. What I'm suggesting to you is we have a hell of a lot of real estate between here and here, and we are going to come back. Look how often we do it. Look how often we do it. Again and again and again. This blue line is basically the thing that keeps your eyeballs straight. It tells you, are you making a stupid decision, are you overbuying, or are you underbuying? Right now you're getting a hell of a good deal. Now, this line can come down. I mean, so your percent returns might shrink down to 150%, 140%, but I mean, when's the last time you've seen those kind of percent returns? Certainly not that many times this year. So what I'm suggesting to you is if you want to take a safety buy at 6 3/4, or just right now, just pull the trigger and just buy it. I don't have a problem with you doing that. I've did it at a higher amount. So I'm into this thing with you for, $250,000. I'm going to ride the ride until I see at least 25, 35, 45% return. Whatever. When this thing decides to start doing one of these big ass runs where it starts pumping hard, like something like this right here, I'll yank it off the table and wait for it to drop again because it will drop again. So the odds or opportunity for this to go up, realistically, watch ISIS. Here's probably your most realistic. This just kind of came into my field of view here. If we just go to ISIS, we're at 133. 133% from where we're at right now. You think you could live with that in light of what we've been through this year? I think any of you would probably be doing cartwheels at that. So the safety buy, guys. Again, I'm not suggesting you throw the rent money or lunch money or whatever. Lunch money, yes. Rent money, no. Let's just say it that way. Uh, this is probably one of the more reasonable plays that you could do in the midst of all that we're seeing right now in the indecision. Now, let me give you the bad case scenario or the oops, it didn't work out for me yet scenario. we are still calling down. So I mean, there's no reason to not play the game or take a safety because you might be very nicely rewarded. Um, it's worth it. And again, I didn't throw comparatively big bucks at this, but I'm not going to look at a gift horse in the mouth. I'm going to grab this thing because we had such a down thing. I knew we were going to get into the bounce zone, so I grabbed it. So, but we could go lower, and I believe we will go lower. But if you buy in on this, buy yourself some more down here, but get yourself a seat at the table, and you might be justly rewarded. Let me show you why. Because here we are with the Anubis cycles. We are cycling up. We're in a longer up cycle and a shorter up cycle, both within this zone right here. So I'm suggesting to you is probably within this week, by the time I'm back in the captain's chair, got all my cars and all my crap in my garage and everything else like that, and I've got my mind back on this, we're going to be ready to cash out. I do believe that we could come up into this yellow box, reasonably speaking, if not further, probably to the white line. And then on from that. Like I said, there's an ISIS line right here, so you always play ISIS. But this is always, like I said, this has been my favorite play. There's for just cause and good reason. All right, so anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this one here. Now, this one suggests a slightly different story. So again, the reason why I wanted to show you three of these is this is a very harsh down. This is more sideways, and this one's actually up. So at first glance, they all look comparable, but they're really not. This one is far more bearish, this one is neutral, and this one is slightly bullish if you look at it that way. But what you must understand is this, and I've shown you guys TA till I'm blue in the face here, but I'll have to explain this again one more time. What I'm looking at, let me highlight this so you can see what I'm seeing. All right. So that, basically, I'm not being exact, but that's close. So what happens? We always break 70% likelihood, we break to the upside. So what I'm telling you by showing you these three charts is this. What I'm showing you on VeChain has relevance to T Fuel and our prospective play here. Reason being is because if we're given to believe that all of these charts are pretty much moving in tandem, generally speaking, and we're seeing one indicator here on VeChain that shows us a 70% likelihood blast to the upside, then that absolutely applies to our play here on T Fuel. This is the way that I think. I kind of think a little outside of the normal TA box and the normal way most people do, but this is exactly the way that I play my plays like this. I look at the broad perspective and I narrow it down. So let me see if I can grab anything else I can kind of show you here. Here's another one. So XRP, I'm kind of keeping this one off to the side. I'm not in XRP right now, but again, here we are again with every reason to believe that we might be going up. Reason being is because, well, let's zero in on this here a little bit. All right, so we hit this pulse marker and we got some pretty strong jiggle in action there. But again, we slid down this little channel inside of a larger red channel. We broke out of it. Now again, this is a bullish move. Now what we would expect to see if we want to apply TA, let me show you something. If we were expecting to want to run TA, we would want to take that amount of move and we'd want to stack it. And look where it puts us, right here on the 200 EMA. Just like I told you. Generally TA moves stacked up against a 200 EMA are a pretty solid bet. So what does this mean for XRP if you want to play that? It's not a huge return, guys. I mean, you're looking at probably, maybe optimistically 9%. But it's there. So if you guys want to buy it and maybe, keep some idle cash churning or whatever. Certainly nothing wrong with owning 42-cent XRP, as we've discussed infinite number of times. But again, don't throw the rent money at it. So now, could we go higher? Yes, we could go higher. The reason I say that is because we've got a massive red channel that would basically form a very hard red cap or hard cap to that. Let me show you the move on that. So if we wanted to go up here and rub that, now you're talking 23%. So there is potentially, your odds are far better of hitting the 200 EMA, but it is well within the realm of possibility to hit this and maybe break out and go to the green line. Why do I say the green line? Because we've got resistance right here, which would put us, give or take, about the 200 EMA. But when we break past that, where's our resistance? Our resistance is a trend line. And then after that, we're looking at above, we're looking at past history. There's one right here, There's one right here, and that's at the bottom of the green line. So the worst case scenario to the upside you're looking at is 200 EMA, about roughly 9%, we'll say. Then our next move up would be roughly about 20%. But if, everything goes well according to plan, you could be very well looking at potentially 36.5%. So those are your three basic possibilities. Now, to the downside, are we going down? I believe that we are going to probably go down on this. Now, we're going to go up in the short term. So this short wave, this short count wave right here is what I'm watching, and we're starting to track with this. Now, I'm sorry if I'm confusing some of you guys that don't understand. So this wave right here, we have long count and short count. So this is the short count, and we've been following this, and we're starting to get an upturn. So that means from this point here to the dead center pulse marker here, we've got, I'm speaking on XRP, we've got a grand total of 16 days to get to the dead center. Doesn't mean 16 days exactly, but reasonably within, I don't know, within about roughly 10 to 16 days. We've got about 10 days of potential upside, according to the Anubis wave. Potential. All right. So if we want to trust that, and so far it's been doing a damn good job of there's your high part right there, and she dove right down. If you go back again, she went through there. There's your high part. She went neutral through there. So it's that short count wave's not messing around. It's pretty darn accurate. So the question is how much volume and how much movement are you going to get behind it? But the direction is more than certain at this point in time. But this would be pretty much the line in the sand where the party's over and get into the lifeboat and get the hell out of Dodge. 16 days is probably a little bit longer than I think that this will carry water. I think probably from here maybe for about the next 7 days, and then we might see a little bit of a correction on that and going down. And broadly speaking, the whole market. So, all right, just since I'm kind of getting in the flow here, let's take a look around the park here, see if we see anything else. Again, same situation here. So we've got a trend marker here. Watch that 200 EMA. I think there's a little bit of money. This is another one. If you don't want to play T-Field, maybe you want to play this. I'm not suggesting a 40% return on your money, but I would suggest potentially a 20 for XLM if everything's going up currently, temporarily. Bear in mind. Let me show you another thing too that might add a little strength to this, to making my case here for the upside temporarily. So if we're gonna let's make that white. All right. So again, we broke at 70% of the triangle down. What happens when we do that? Well, you guys love to watch for these. It's a J-hook, guys. It's a J-hook in the making. So there, again, this chart right here is telling you what the rest of the stuff is probably going to do. Here's a very strong case. We're breaking out. We're in mid J-hook right now. Where are we headed? Right there. All right. So I'm kind of glad I checked in on that. So there's about 20% to be made right there. And again, certainly nothing. What's the price on that currently? 15-cent XLM. Come on. that's a good price no matter how you slice it. XDC is back with the program and everything else is going on. I think I would probably advise you guys to stay out of this one until this thing slams to the deck. Don't play with this. Don't play with this. This is it's not what do I want to say? It's not active enough. It's not it doesn't run up and down as much as, excuse me here, I got my charts are all jacked up here. There we go. It's not as volatile as I would like it to be swing trading this thing. And it's an odd coin with a lesser market cap. So, get in when you're going to get in, but don't be playing with this thing. So I'm waiting for this to go down. And again, here's another indicator of, why are we getting this? Well, here you go. There's a trend line. It's sliding right down the trend line. Again, this adds to the overall story. So, of course, naturally, we're going to break up. Well, here's another trend line right here. So how far could it go? Well, here we go, right here, dual AI line. So there's money to be made here if you want to flip it. Again, I just said don't play with this one, but if you don't want to listen to me, you do what you want to do. I'm just telling you my personal thoughts, but there's a potential to make 25 to 27% right there. And you guys know how the dual AI lines are. So I'll cross my fingers and say a small prayer for you guys if you want to do this. But again, I really don't think there's a terrible sin in buying it at the price it's at right now, with the idea that you probably want to make 15 to 25% a return, I guess. But don't hold it. When it's time to get out, it's time to get out. And I'll tell you right now where the ceiling is. It's the bottom of this green line right here. The best you're going to see, you're likely going to see this. Will you see wicks above? Yeah, probably. But it's going to wick to the bottom of this green line right here. So the best you're going to get is, well, roughly 40 to 45%. Don't hold your breath for those kind of numbers right now, guys. We're not in that strong of a market that the market's going to hand you a 45% return. This is not going to happen. So be happy grabbing your 20, 25% returns. Giggle, call it a week. Thank me later. Um, few other things I want to look at. Yeah, we'll go ahead and throw this out here. Gonna look at the dogs because there's been a little bit of news on both of those recently. Okay, now here would be a discussion the opposite direction. Now I'm talking about Shiba. Sorry. You can see that we are underneath. We're inside of a channel, a descending channel. I'm talking about this white channel right here. We are between mid channel and upper channel. We're locked in a trench here going down. Unless and until this sucker breaks out, we're not going up. Now, how far would we go up? Well, I just don't personally. I got to tell you, I got to be real honest with you. I don't believe it's going up. I don't believe it's going up much at all. And here's the reason why. I'm seeing some pretty squishy indicators right here. I'm seeing kind of the dragon's a little bit okay. The bubble's definitely choking off, and we're coming to a pulse marker. And we don't talk about pulse markers very much. Some of you guys that are new to the live streams, and some of you guys are new subscribers, don't really understand the ramifications of these dotted and dashed lines. This is pretty much the basis of the system. And if you don't know how to operate those or what those mean, you're really missing the point of subscribing to the charts, because when we hit excuse me, when we hit these dotted and dashed lines, things happen. Markets dive. Like this one, for example. We hit this one here and down she went. Hit this one, we went neutral. We're going to hit this one, what's going to happen? A decision is going to be made on this next candle within the next 24 hours on Shiba. We seem to be getting a little squishy here. So Shiba may just go neutral for a while. It is following the market. But if it does decide to break out here, probably by 7 o'clock tonight, I got 6 o'clock, so basically in an hour. If it does decide to break out, I don't see it really honestly going much above, right? Getting outside of this. I just don't. So just kind of want to give you the worst case, best case scenario. But I don't see a lot of things that are very terribly bullish for Shiba right now. Doge is probably going to follow suit, but we'll just talk about that. So if we want to go ahead and bring this on down here so we can have a educated discussion about this. Okay, so now this is kind of the opposite. Now again, these channels can be a little bit, what I want to say, these channels can throw off your decision making just a little bit. But to look at this channel here, which was made across the entire perspective of the motion, you can see I'm not kidding around with this channel. It's been very true blue. I mean, very true blue. I'm going to just say it, guys. There's probably money to be made in Doge right now. I mean, when's the last time you heard me say that? By the way, you guys are going to laugh at this. I just have to jazz him every once in a while. I pass Crypto Riches in town, driving his pretty little red car, and he passed me. He passed me in traffic. Well, I passed him in traffic. Apparently he was just coming out of the car wash, but I passed him in his race car going 20 miles an hour and a 35 mile an hour. I had to give him crap, and go into the dream chat and you'll see a picture of his car if you want to see it. But I passed him, and so I'm going to be meeting with him probably this afternoon. I'm probably going to talk to him and say, you might want to take a look at this. You might want to take a look at this because I think there might be a little bit of money to be made here. And again, if we just play this as a channel, there's that number again, 43%. But do I feel optimistic enough to say that you guys are going to be making 40%? Can you hang on that long? Because remember, every one of these candles is a day. I mean, it doesn't seem like that much, but when you're holding it, grinding your back teeth, going, oh, when is it going to come? It can be, Let me give you an example here. From bottom of that run to the top of that run, that was 23 days, damn near a month. So you have to be able, it's that thing I talk about all the time, being able to get a grip of yourself, just know your outcome. What is it? What is it you hope to achieve? And until you achieve it, by God, keep your hands out of the cookie jar. So um, that's what I'm going to tell you. So what I would tell you is this. I'm pretty optimistic. Let's make some lines here. So I never thought I was going to start pitching Doge again here, but I'm seeing some stuff. So, all right. So we got a window right there. All right, let's call that the window of opportunity. I think there's a really good reasonable opportunity or expectation that we could probably hit that. And the reason I say that is for several things. Um, we revisit old telltale things. So we could wick down. We actually did wick down. So there's the Anubis called Bam Bam. We hit that sucker right there. So that's pretty much nullified. That's over and done with. Now, I'm not suggesting that we're not going to revisit those because once you hit a certain mark, you can come back. So let's keep to the positive side of this discussion. Let me tell you what I expect. Now, here's our 50% marker, and it runs right through there. Okay, I'm being kind of sloppy with my hand drawings, but I'm also seeing some resistance right here and a little right there. So if we're playing conservatively under that 50%, we could very easily come back up and tap and touch an old established point, which would be right in that general area. But if we want to go to the lowest touch-off points, which are right here and right here, let's take a look at the percent of potential shorter-term returns. 20%, 20, 21%. Now, if you wanted to do this, how would I play this? I always want to give you guys a little advanced stuff here. So let me give you some theory. Let me give you some suggestions. You do what you want to do. If a person, let's just say 10,000. I know y'all got 10,000 sitting around. So if a person were to take 10,000 or 5,000 or whatever, I'm just being funny. But if a person were to take a certain amount of money and buy Doge, safety buy again, we're not throwing the kitchen sink at this, and say, okay, I'm holding now. I'm gonna throw my 10,000 in for the opportunity to maybe make 2,000 to $2,500 back. Not a bad day at the races. Not a bad day at all. If that's your going in expectation, but if she turns south and goes down, 8 cent, 8.5 cent Doge, yeah, it'll turn. It'll be fine. Uh, you could do that. With the expectation that we'd probably be looking at 20, 21%. Could go higher, but right here, right now, I'm only willing to go out that far. Uh, you could do that. Now, if a person were to do that maneuver, there's a couple of different ways you could play this. I always want you guys to be. It's not a zero sum game of putting your money in, taking your profits and money out. Doesn't always have to play that way. Some of you guys understand what I'm about to talk about here. Many of you have recognized this before, but have never actually done it. This would be a case in the bullish perspective of how I would want you to play this, rather than take the money and run off. And the same thing can play for T Fuel or any of these major coins. Um, so if we're coming in here at, let's just make it 8.5 cents. So if we're coming in here at 8.5 cents right now, we get a buy on Doge and the thing starts going up. So we have to know how much money we put in. So for our laughable example here, we'll say $10,000. If you put $10,000 in there, and let's say this thing goes up to 10,000 to 10,000, $12,000, goes up to 12,000 bucks. There's a couple of different ways you could play this. You can sell the whole shamil and you can pocket the $2,000 profit and wash, rinse, and repeat. Or you could do this. You could take your $10,000 back and you just got yourself some free Doge coins. Then you've got, my friends, what's referred to as an infinite rate of return. Any amount of money this thing goes up in the future is profit. Even if it goes down, your original thing that's going on here is less profit, but it's still profit. That's how you win the game. And it's just a subtle change in the way you think of things. But let me go back and hit this one more time. I know you guys can rewind, but I want to make sure that the short bus crowd stays up with us here. Uh, so if you're putting in, and we'll just use 10,000. If you're putting in 10,000 and the value goes up to $12,000, You sell the $10,000 worth, get your capital back, keep the $2,000 in the casino, and just let it ride, baby, because this thing's gonna go. It's gonna go higher when time comes. But at least that's a way to add to your stack. Now, does that work with 10,000? Yes. Does it work with 5,000? Yes. Does it work with 1,000? Well, not as well, but is anyone going to say, poo-poo to some free Dogecoins or some free whatever you want to do this with? Certainly not. Just understand when you get under a certain point, and I'll say under $1,000, when you get under $1,000, exchange is going to take a little bit of a chunk out of you, and it's not, there's not as much glory in it when you do it that way. But I want you to keep that in the back of your mind. We'll give that a special title or a house money play, or I'll give it something where you guys can recognize when I'm doing that stuff, and I'll constantly be referring to it. But when these things are in these swings to the downside where it's going down, but every once in a while it pops up, these are your opportunities to get coins for free. Don't always necessarily look at this as a cash out thing. Just don't. And for you guys that are obsessed with paying taxes on your crypto profits, there was no profits. There was no profits. If you do it that way, you're getting coins. You're deferring your profit. So that's a tax advantage. That's a tax strategy. All right, guys. So that's going to nail it down for today. I'm out of here. I'm going to go. I'm gonna go to Florida. I missed a flight the other day. I promised I was gonna be back by now. I haven't even left. I've been running back and forth and racing and doing stuff like that. So I've still got to go pick up this mystery car, which I will unveil to you guys. I'll probably do a live stream. You guys will probably see me live on camera with this thing here before very long. But it's gonna be a couple weeks before the thing comes down. So I got to go down and I got to take a look at it, and I got to grab a couple of other cars and a motorcycle that I bought. But once I get the whole fleet back here, I'll be back to business. So this will hold you for a while. All right. Thanks, guys.